My name is Chris Reed, and I'm an associate professor of film video at Stevenson University. Hey, thanks. The problem with going last is that as you listen to everyone else's, you're like, yeah, that would have been nice. Oh well. Take it away. In December of 1895 in Paris, the brothers Auguste and Louis Lumière presented the first ever public projection of motion pictures, and the cinema was officially born. By 1915, when the first major American full-length feature film, The Birth of a Nation, was made, the art of filmmaking had progressed considerably. Whereas the first movies had consisted of single shots framed from a vantage point similar to that of an audience in a theater, D.W. Griffith, horribly racist filmmaker though he was, used a variety of shot sizes, showing John Wilkes Booth in full shot, and then cutting to a close-up of his gun. This combination of the wide shot and the detail was calculated to heighten the audience's anticipation so that the eventual final deed, Booth's assassination of Lincoln, would resonate even more. Since we can't see the puff of smoke moving in this image, I circled it in red. We now take this kind of shot progression from wide to close for granted, but back then it was relatively new and radical, which is why we still remember Griffith, even though he was a racist son of a gun. In February of 1917 in Russia, some other radical changes were taking place. Tsar Nicholas II abdicated after a series of popular uprisings. By October of that year, Vladimir Lenin, leader of the revolutionary Bolsheviks, had seized power, and the Soviet Union was founded. The Russian film industry was almost entirely destroyed by both this revolution and the Civil War that followed. By 1921, the Civil War was over. A group of young artists, led by Kuleshov, discovered a print of D.W. Griffith's follow-up to Birth of a Nation, 1916's Intolerance. They learned how to edit movies by taking the film apart and then recutting it in different ways. They also found a print of a shot of a famous pre-revolutionary actor looking at the camera. Taking the lessons they had learned from recutting Intolerance, they decided to try an experiment. They cut 3 different short sequences together. In the first, they cut from the shot of the actor, named Mazhuchin, to a bowl of soup. When they screened this for an audience, the audience reacted to Mazhuchin's performance as if he were obviously hungry. Kuleshov and company then took the exact same shot of Mazhuchin, the same exact shot, frame for frame, and followed it with an entirely new shot just to see what would happen. This shot is very different than the bowl of soup. It was a child in a coffin. Now, the audience seeing this sequence claimed that it could read sadness in Mazhuchin's expression now. Interesting, Kuleshov and his friends thought. Let's try it again. So, one more time, they cut a different shot following Mazhuchin's performance, and it was a shot of a beautiful woman reclining on a sofa. This time, the audience read desire into Mazhuchin's performance. Out of this experiment, the aesthetics of modern film editing were born. The performance of the actor is directly related to the shots that precede and follow it. Context, in other words, is everything. Now, one of Kuleshov's colleagues was a young man named Sergei Eisenstein who called this technique montage and made a film, The Battleship Potemkin, in 1925, featuring a baby carriage bouncing down a long staircase in Odessa that brought these ideas to the rest of the world's attention. Does anyone still care about Kuleshov and company? Well, let's look at Spike Lee's 1992 masterpiece, Malcolm X. Here, Malcolm, played by Denzel Washington, is driving to the Audubon Ballroom, where he will be assassinated. In a montage of his own, with Sam Cooke's A Change Is Gonna Come playing on the soundtrack, Spike Lee cuts from Malcolm in his car to the Audubon Ballroom, stays there for a little bit, and then from there, he cuts to a shot of Malcolm's wife and family being driven to that same ballroom. This is all happening while the music plays. Frequently, modern montages have music linking all the shots together. We then cut to a shot of the men who will kill Malcolm also driving to the Audubon Ballroom. And finally, after going from one shot to the other. We end our montage back on a shot of Denzel in his car. And now the audience reads into his performance as if he knows he's going to die. And Denzel, great actor that he is, knows he can keep his emotions low key because context is everything. And thanks to Kuleshov and company, we, the audience, will read that context into his performance. Thank you very much.